Feeling lost in the exhaustion of IVF and endometriosis. In part 2, Ilina shares how she hit pause, found herself again, and turned her story into advocacy on big miracles. This is about strength, healing, and hope when the struggle feels endless.
Hi, I'm Britt.
And I'm Amy, and welcome to the Every Season podcast.
We're here for a fun time, not a long time.
Hopefully we're here for a bit of a long time. Hey, Britt.
Hey, Ames.
Would you say you need some assistance when it comes to being more aware of your body?
Why? What have you got?
Well, you can download our free 7-step female body awareness kit and see if it helps.
Sweet, where?
In the show notes and on our website.
Also, in order for us to be here for a long time,
please subscribe to our podcast. So you're working with your gyno, who obviously was part of the IVF facility or board, so to speak. And you're obviously getting numbers that at the time weren't the best. Is that, like, take us on the journey from that to then when you, I guess, went on to TV to then obviously document the journey? Like, how did that kind of come about? Had you gone through a fair amount of rounds? Was it part of, I guess, how the journey of, you know, being with your gyno and understanding that they were then like, oh, you know what, we can, you know, broadcast this to obviously help other families and other women?
Yeah, of course. So we had done 3 rounds prior to going on the show. So and they were
Is that
big
a
hits.
lot? Sorry, is that a
Yeah,
lot?
so
Like,
do you mean rounds as in like egg collection rounds or transfers?
Egg collection rounds.
Okay.
So egg
What's the
collection
norm?
rounds.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I had already done 3 cycles. We did 3 cycles. So our cycles will be from start to finish to egg retrieval. So we did 3 cycles at that stage, and again, we're doing surgeries in between and trying to get all that sorted. And we watched season 1 had come out from Big Miracles, and I go to my husband, I go, you know, actually one of our cousins was like, you need to watch this show. And I was like, what? She goes, sit down and watch it. You're going to get, like, it's good to watch. So we sat down, and it was just nice to watch the first season participants actually bring to light what we were already thinking, what we were already feeling. And it was like, oh my God, babe, I said that, or I felt like that. And it really made him understand and be like, what you feel is normal. Like, you're not any different to anyone else. And then there was we decided, so our gyno turned around and was like, hey, you know, I'm moving up. She was moving up in the health department, and she goes, I think it's time that I need to step away from IVF. You might need to find someone else. And we were like, oh my God, like, who do we go to and what's happening? And we were a bit freaked out because I was like, I want to get it right. And season 1 came on, and we were watching it. We were so excited. And then I go off feeling and emotion. And, you know, Dr. Sachs popped up for like literally 2-3 minutes. And I looked at my husband like, I like him. He's like, why him? I'm like, I don't know. I just like him.
He was caring and sweet, and
it was just, there was just something about him that I was just like, I don't know. I just liked it. I didn't research about him. I didn't know. I felt a connection through the screen. I'm like, I want him. We booked, and then I think when season 1 finished we got an email from Big Miracles asking if we'd be interested to go on the show. And we had seen Dr. Sachs, we explained our journey, and I looked at my husband like, let's just give him a call. Well, what do we have to lose? Like, you know, and they had the casting producer on, and we were on the phone with her, and she just asked us to explain our story. We explained our story, but at the time, we were going away, and our timing wasn't going to fit filming. So we're like, that's fine. You know, maybe if there's a season 3 or something, we'll figure it out. So we went away. We thought we're not going to go on the show. Then we came back, and we got another phone call saying, are you guys still interested? And I looked at my husband like, what do we have to lose? Let's do a GoPro. They did like a GoPro in the car for the first day. We went in to see Dr. Sachs and sat down with him after we had our blood test results done.
Oh, so you hadn't had like your consultation and stuff with him?
We had our first consult. We only had 1 consultation, and we did our bloods. So he did all this groundwork.
Right.
And so we had filming crew come for our second visit with Dr. Sachs. So it was like very like,
wow, that's like,
yeah, it was like, I'm still learning who Dr. Saxy is, what he's all
Yeah.
about. But then we've got camera crew there.
You're
and
dealing with your active stage 4 endo.
we're about to hear some results, and I'm like all nervous. And I'm like, wow, this is like, if this goes ahead, like people, like this is happening right now. There
And they're
wasn't,
seeing it for real. Yeah.
yeah, this is no take 2. There's no take 3. This was like,
Wow.
it happened as you see it. You just saw it unfold. And when we were getting our results and everything, you get so overwhelmed. You're like, you know the camera crew were there, but for me it was like, I just wanted answers. I just wanted guidance, and it was all new to me. And so every reaction you got to see, and every, tear or emotion that came up was just me accepting what was happening. And I'm so glad now looking back that we got to capture that and people got to see that, because, in those moments you don't get, oh, can you go back and cry? Or
Yeah.
can you say that again? It doesn't work like that in a documentary series. It's like you're getting them the way they are. And that was, I look back and go, wow, that's how I reacted. Or wow, like
And I think that's what made you so relatable as well. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people that would have been following you, like heard about your journey of endo and then going into the IVF. And majority of people do struggle. Like it's not like a first time go and they end up pregnant. It doesn't tend to work like that most of the time. And I just found like, because I was going through IVF when I was watching you, and I just found you so relatable because it just felt honest and raw. So yeah, I think that made a hell of a difference.
It makes me so emotional when I hear you say, like, you watched me. Because when we went on the show, it was for me to bring awareness. I didn't do it for the popularity contest. I didn't do it to make money after. My goal wasn't to, be successful about it. My true goal was to just be a voice for those that just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was just nice when I hear people say, I watched you, or they re-quote something I've said or what Nick says, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that, And it makes me feel so, like, it's so rewarding to think that I'm just like everyone else. I'm human. I go to work. I have a 9 to 5. I come home, cook, clean, care for my husband. Like, I'm an everyday Australian, And to have people come to you, go, thank you. Because of you, I felt stronger in my cycle. Thank you. Because of you, I listened to my gut and now I'm pregnant. It just, I didn't think someone like me could have such an influence on people, especially in a story as IVF. It's something so raw and so heartbreaking.
Yes.
It was beautiful. I'm very thankful for being chosen and being given that opportunity, because now I just feel like I'll carry that with me, and I'm happy to be the voice and give people, a platform to feel like it's okay for me to talk about it too, and, make them feel like it's fine.
I think, definitely, like you've done something that is so incredible, like you said, because I think, in a really crappy situation, you've turned it into something where you're like, you know what, well, I can do this and I can provide hope for other individuals. And I think like that's something that you should definitely be proud of, because like you said, we need more awareness about it. Like it's like you said, if you knew, if you had someone like, you have so many people like Brett out there who've looked up to you back, when you were, say, like 19, the awareness of it may have changed. I mean, there's no point looking back, because what's the alternative? That will just make you feel like a piece of shit. But I think it's just, I think it's definitely something that you should be super proud of, because it hits home.
Yeah. It does, especially when you have mothers going, oh, my daughter's 15 and I think she might have endometriosis. And it's like, I'm not an expert. I can't tell you what to do, what you can't do, but I can sit here and tell you, hey, guess what? If your daughter gets to about 2021 and as a parent, you really want her, to live her dreams, but maybe potentially free her from the fertility journey, maybe get her eggs frozen younger. Give her an opportunity to have a life, but then look back and go, my mum did something for me that was beautiful, And it's not, it is expensive. I get that. But I'm only talking to parents that are financially capable to potentially set their children up, because it happens so often now. And it's educating, younger women, parents out there that, look at this girl. She's gone through the ringer. Maybe I can make a change to my daughter one day when she wants to become a parent, if she's going to go through this journey, because when you freeze your eggs at 21, they say 21 years old. When you go through IVF when you're 28, 29, 30, that's the age of your eggs. So the quality and everything
It's so different. Yeah.
it's so different.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the best result when you were 21. Your eggs are at prime, the quality, everything's the best, So it's little things like that I like to open the mind of women out there and parents to be like, okay, this is something that I can probably do and help them out.
You're so right, because I know there's so many friends that I've seen over the years, and I got it quite early, like I knew quite early, but every time they've said, oh, I've got these pains, or I've got this, or I'm really struggling, I'll be like, don't wait, get checked, because if you wait, you're just delaying finding out what's wrong, so then that way you can actually do something about it. Like the longer you wait, the worse position.
You become like a parent yourself. You're like, do it now. Go get yourself checked. These are the questions I need you to ask. Tell them, I feel this pain. This is what's happening. I go in there like you know what you're talking about. So you don't give them the opportunity to, turn you away and make it look
And
like
brush
it's
it
just a
off.
period. No. Go in there educated. Go in there knowing what to ask. Get them thinking. Let them understand, like, okay, she's going to keep coming back and keep fighting for herself. Let me give her an opportunity. Let her go somewhere. Maybe it's, sometimes we need to push harder.
Well, yeah, but they push harder. And it's hard, isn't it? Because we're pushing harder on systems. We're pushing harder on professionals and experts and things that have, years and years and years and years and years of what we've just essentially been told. If you got pain, just go on the pill. Yeah.
Yeah, but people need to understand every woman's journey and body will react differently. Yeah. So for some people, the pill is going to be the best friend that they've never had, and it's going to be wow. For some people, it's going to be that ex-boyfriend that keeps annoying you and you don't want him around. So it's a relationship. The pill's a relationship. It's either going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. So,
but I think you're so right. I think we had a discussion with a naturopath, and one of the biggest key things that I took away from that conversation was I guess where she said it's really she comes from a tailored perspective of she sees the individual and okay, cool, what's going on, and where and also another discussion we had with the GP on here essentially was how the fact that so many women are unaware of their body and what's going on, and I think that's where the first step is being aware by tracking your cycles, understanding your body and what's going on, and then going and seeking professional advice from someone who is going to listen to that and then tailor the specific situation to what happens. And like you said, we've got to push through a system that just doesn't do that,
And it's finding the right person for you.
Correct.
You can go do the best of the best, but your connection with them is just, it's not the best. You can
Makes
go
a
to
hell
the
of a
worst.
difference. Yeah.
Like I said, everyone's different personalities. Everyone has different growth, different understanding, different things about them that makes them unique. It's just finding the right match for you. It can be the worst, it can be the best, and you don't know who's going to be the, what. It's just finding that connection and knowing that I can trust this person with my life, with my decision to give me the best outcome. And that's what, at the end of the day, it is. It's building a relationship with your naturopath, with your psychologist, with your fertility specialist. It's building a relationship and knowing that you trust this person.
How many cycles did you have on the show?
So on the show, you saw the one cycle.
Okay, so that was your fourth cycle?
That was my fourth cycle, and we did the 2 transfers on the show, so you got to see that. After the show, we've had done multiple other rounds
with the same doctor.
Yes, of course. I love my doctor. He's like, every time I've done a podcast or everyone asks me about him, everyone has their own opinion. I love him. Like he's he was the perfect match for me. I trust him completely. I know he's got the best intentions possible for me. And that was very hard for me to find. And like my husband sometimes will say to me, just go marry him. Like, I'm so highly of him. I'm like, like I go, I have that such respect for him, that I know he's fighting for me. Like every time I fail, I know it hurts. Every time there's a successful round, I know he gets happy. He's in it for the long haul with me. And like I said, it's just finding that right doctor for you that that you can lean on when you can. And you know that they're going to have that for you. Sometimes it's hard for them too. And I say this a lot. A lot of people, it's like it's easy to blame the doctor. It's easy to blame them. It's stop shifting blame.
Yeah.
You got to just accept what is happening. It's not. I'm not saying you're to blame, but just accept that that's happened. Heal and move on and get the next thing happening.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to blame. It's not going to be healthy.
So if we go back to the cycle, so you've had how many transfers have you had all up?
I think we've got 8 or 9 so far.
8 or 9, okay. So quite a few. So like every time you've done that transfer, do you get sat down and explained why it has failed, or there's no reason, you just have to go again?
It's hard. The thing is, it's hard to pinpoint what it is. Because we've done testing, we've checked the uterus lining, everything comes back beautiful. My natural killer cells, nothing's attacking them. And I hate using the word unexplained infertility because I don't feel like it's unexplained. Everything's working the way it should work. The only thing that I could think of is my endo, which is not that bad as like when I think about it, considering I know people that have endo, they've fallen pregnant, So I'm like, we've tested everything possible. They just don't want to implant. And I don't know whether it's the quality of the embryo, whether it's the genetics of it, whether it's the timing, the hormone, I don't know. And this is what the hardest thing is. We've done so many cycles in so many different variations of a cycle. We'll do one cycle and I'll get the best numbers. Like for me, it's best numbers. Like I cried on national television when I got 7. That was like,
amazing.
That was that killed me, like internally, because I'm like, I can't believe I got 7.
Is that your biggest number you've got, 7?
Yes. And I've never been able to get as close as to that ever. Like after that 7, we did another round. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah, that's hard.
So was there anything that you were doing, Ilina, in regards to that, or it was just like you said, there's nothing you can were you no?
I listen. There's people say you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
Doctors will say this and that. I really do believe in timing. I really do believe when the body will just do what it needs to do when it's right. And everything needs to align in a certain way. Unfortunately with me, I'm just assuming as much as everything looks so good, something's not aligning. And it's like going to the casino. You're 50-50 black and white. It's going to work or not.
Yeah.
And that's IVF. That's the fertility journey. You're not guaranteed. Someone will go there one cycle, it's done. They're pregnant.
It's done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some people like myself will do so many rounds, so many transfers, and it's just not going to work. But it might work on their 10th, 11th, or 12th. We just don't know. It is heartbreaking.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Yeah.
It's hard, but I'm not going to sit there and dwell about, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have ate healthier. No. I want a Coke, I'll have a Coke. I want a chocolate, I'm going to have my chocolate. I'm already struggling with endometriosis.
Don't overanalyze it.
Yeah, I've just stopped, not that I've stopped caring, I've stopped doing that. I've got to do this, because I found that wasn't good for me.
Well, you're subconsciously putting stress on your body anyway, because you're overanalyzing everything that you're doing, which ultimately at the end of the day, no matter what you're believing, but that energy is not going to be good like you said,
Well, stress is one of the biggest things. So if you're stressed, I remember my first transfer, I was like, I'm not going in it thinking I'm going to get pregnant. I'm thinking about it as an experience of knowing how the process goes, because to be honest, the process is so intense, as obviously so I think if we go back to the IVF, because a lot of people out there don't even know the process of IVF, and I think with yourself, do you get a set plan? How does it actually happen?
So with me, it comes down to your first initial blood tests
Yep.
on the best protocol, the best plan for you. So, you know, they tested my AMH level, they tested my natural killer cells, they did all these tests on me before they were like, okay, I think this cycle and this protocol will work for you. So it's constant blood tests and your body is constantly changing. So the next time I did another round, I'll do another blood test. My body wasn't reacting, so we had to do a different protocol.
Yeah.
So and that's what happens, and it's not black and white where you go, oh, I'm just gonna go in, get a blood test, do my injections. For a standard cycle, I think is like you go in for your bloods, you do a 2-week cycle, you're in egg retrieval, and you're done, and then you go, you get your number, you do your egg transfer if you're lucky, if you're not, that's a standard cycle. I've done a cycle that's lasted 3 months. Constant, like I think I
3
counted
months of injections?
286 injections I put in my body in that 3 months. So
Yeah.
I counted it all. You know, I've done a 3-month cycle. And then after that 3 months, I did an egg retrieval and I got 0.
So just based on that, and why was it 3 months? Were they waiting for follicles to grow to a certain size? Like
Yes.
why is that?
So when I've done a 2-week cycle, my follicles grow. The growth rapid period of it was fantastic. They were going as we were, you know, on time. Everything was great. The 3 months, they were there, but they were slow, really slow. So the growth of them was just a lot more slower than every other cycle that I've had. And we just thought we'd change it up with different medications, see if the body will react differently. But then, you know, my body just didn't want to do what it wanted to do, and we got, like I said, we got 0 eggs out of that whole 3. Like I did this thing for 3 months, and I woke up and I had a big fat 0 on my hand, and I bawled my eyes out for like months after, because I was like, but I did everything right. I did the injections on time. I ate healthy. I did everything right, and it just didn't work. Like, you know, you beat yourself up constantly thinking, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm doing everything they're telling me, but it just doesn't work. And what do? Like, you know, you just take the time to heal. You take the time to break, you know, give yourself a bit of a body rest, and then you just build your mental status a bit and be like, you know what? I've grieved that now. Let's go back into the next one. And I think the thing I love about Dr. Sachs was we got to a point where it was like, Ilina, I think you need a break. I think it's time, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of doctors will sit there and be like, give, and, you know, next. We did that, and it was just like, I'm looking out for you now. It's time that you have a break. And I think I gave him the biggest hug after, because he knew I would have kept going. I would have pushed. But the fact that he could see that this girl's not going to give up and she needs a break.
Yeah.
You know, I commend him for just giving his opinion and seeing that. And we've been, it's been 7 months now. We've been on a break, and I'm like, I love this break.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually so scared to go back and do a cycle, because I love who I am now, and I love the relationship I've built. I'm coming back to who I am, and okay, you're the first to know this. I'm scared because I love who I am now. I'm scared that I want to give up on motherhood a bit, because I've done it for 10 years, and I just feel like, am I being selfish not to care about myself? Like, and that's the scary bit, you know, like, do I keep pushing? Do I just, you know, live life to the fullest? And then I did a little video.
That's a hard decision to make.
It
like
is.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I did a video on my Instagram like not long ago, and I'm like, I'm talking about the age, you know, when people say to me like, oh, you're still young, you've got time. It's like, yes. Biologically, the age is still, I've got time, but the 10 years, like when you look at it's like, I say the word decade, it's a decade battle. Like, it's not like it didn't happen overnight. Like, to get to where I am, it took a massive toll on me. And it just like, I'm enjoying, I forgot what it was like to be me. I forgot what it was like to be an auntie to my niece and nephew, you know, forgot what it was like to be a wife. And it's just little things like that that I'm just like, I'm starting to find me again, and I'm scared that going into another cycle, I'm going to
Lose it. Yeah.
all of that. But then I want to be a mum, so it's just, I can't find the balance, and it's scary. And this is the battle women have with themselves. Oh, constantly, because it's like, where do I go from here? I love who I am, but I want to be a mom, and it's not easy. So it's a constant.
And you've already
battle.
gone through so much.
Yeah.
And then you found yourself to then give up is like another thing that you'll be kicking yourself about. It comes down to a fine line. Will you regret not trying again? Like that's probably where it comes down to.
Exactly. And it's like, and then it's like, I got to live with that for the rest of my life too. You know, I got to learn to accept that and live with that. And is that something I'm ready for? And it's just so much questions. And it's like, do I do donor now? Do I do surrogacy? Do I do this and that? It's a constant battle of trying to make that right decision. And I'm going to be honest, you're never going to make the right decision. Ever. Sorry, I got to blow my nose because I'm like sniffling like a little...
That was actually going to be my next question. But you mentioned it is like going down the avenue, because I know towards the end of the show you did mention something of, I remember you met up with that other lady,
yeah, I got to meet
Sheila, who went down another road. So, but I do remember you saying you would want to be the one either to carry your baby or be your baby, so you didn't want to give up on that as of yet, like your genes.
Yes, and that being on this break has given me a lot of time to really think of what I really want. Am I going to accept it? Am I going to regret? And that's again, am I going to accept this? I'm going to regret this. But being on the show and being in a community now that I get to be around like-minded women that I want to be donors, and you know, that ethnic thought process of like, you're going to be different and they're not going to be yours. And that plays a big factor in the back of my mind. And then I come to see these beautiful women saying, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to be a mom. And then I'm like, why am I so fearful? Why am I freaking out? The genetics of it. I'm going to carry it. I don't care how people want to look at it, but I'm psychologically prepared to be like, my blood's going to run through those veins. I'm putting in, they're going to feed, like I'm carrying it. So it's already going to have a part of me. And that's what's making me feel the genetic side of it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to carry it. It's me. And to be fair, when a lot of people look into the process, I'm sorry, I'm only asking for a dot, like a dot. That's what we're asking for. You know, we look at it like this big concept. It's going to be a baby. It's going to be genetically not yours. I'm asking for a speck of dot. That's it. I believe the rest is up to me. The rest is mine. So I think we psychologically focus on those words when we should be focusing on the visual aspect. I'm only asking for a dot. That's it. I'm not asking for anything else.
Yeah, it's like you're not taking a baby out of someone else's arms.
Exactly
like you said.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
I think it's all noise, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything else is just noise. You know, yeah.
Amy, you're right. It is noise. And I think once you start to not focus on the words and focus on the visual side of things and actually understand that that's all I want, but what I'm going to carry and what I'm going to bring is me, you're going to flip that switch a little bit different, and you're going to be like, it's mine. I don't care. Like, I don't care what anyone says anymore. Like, it's just, it's hard, eh? I'm fumbling because I'm trying to find the right words, because and this is it. You can't find the right words.
No.
I'm constantly trying to like justify my decisions and justify the thought process of accepting what I'm about to make. But yes, donor is a big thing that we are looking at, because on the last episode, my AMH level from like 6.4, it dropped down to like 1.3, like in a year. Like, again, that's a massive drop, and it's hit after hit with me. It's not like the changes that happen in my body aren't gradual. They're big changes, big hits. And I've learned that that's just who I am. My body just wants to give me the biggest challenges of my life, and rip the band-aid off all the time, and I've learned to deal with that. But at the same time, it's just like, when's it going to slow down? When am I going to catch up and like really start to accept what's happening?
Sorry, pardon ignorance. What's AMH levels?
So it's the level of how many eggs you have in your ovarian reserve.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that'll indicate. So usually they like it over 20. If you have a number over 20, that's a comfortable, like a very doable. 15 over is great. 10 over, it's. But once it starts to go under in the 10, it's going to be a lot more difficult. You're not going to get high numbers in the fact that if you want to get 10 over 10 to 20, 30 eggs, you're not going to get that, because your numbers are dropping. And that's aiming to bring it to the biological clock. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
Your biological clock is ticking. That's how I reference it.
Right. Okay.
So, when people were like, oh, my biological clock is ticking, I always was like, what do they mean by that?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm thinking that's what it means. Your biological clock is ticking. Women are born with their egg reserve. Men reproduce their sperm. So they can always constantly make more sperm. Women can't. You're born with the amount of eggs you have, and that's it. So you get to a point where you run out. So
and just so everybody knows, like you're the most you got was 7 eggs on that retrieval. Now, when you get that retrieval, it doesn't mean you're going to get 7 embryos. So how many embryos did you get from that? Because I think a lot of people think see?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people think, okay, they've got 7 eggs, that's amazing, but you've got to wait those 5 days and be told every step of the way and be anxious through that whole process to find out how many little embryos you're going to be able to have to transfer. And that's scary in itself as well.
Oh, because you get the daily phone calls, which is heartbreaking, because you're like, oh, I've got 7. And then, that afternoon they'll call you and they're like, hey, the sperm have made some magic, and we're seeing, we're just letting you know they've been fertilized. And then you wait the next day, they'll tell you how much the growth is growing. And then by the second, third day, you have an understanding which one the slow growers are and which ones are not going to make it, to the ones that are gradually going to turn into blastocyst modes. So you get an idea. So we ended up with 7, but had 2 blastocysts, and that's the embryo turning into blastocysts to transfer. So yeah. And I've heard women have 20, 30, and they'll end up with 1, It's not a numbers game. And this is where people need to stop focusing on numbers, because I find a lot of women, it's like, I got this much number, and it's like, I got more than you. It's like, it's not a numbers game, because we've had 3 and had 2 out of that 3. So and I've had women that have 15 and they've ended up with nothing. And I've only had 3 and had 2 blastocysts. So it's not a numbers game. So I want to educate women, stop focusing on numbers, because anything can happen. Even if you have low numbers, it can possibly be the one.
Love that. Gives me goosebumps.
We do ask. I feel like there's going to be so many women who obviously, like you said, you're focusing on educating and helping obviously other women who are going through this, which I think is just so inspiring, going through something that you've been through, Ilina. Like to be, I guess, using it as a platform and a movement to bring more awareness is incredible. So where are you educating females? Is it on social media? Like where can people, I guess, go to receive or just even connect with you, essentially? Because I feel like, there's so many females out there who may be going through the same thing and they have no support and they don't know what to do.
So a lot of women now, like, social media is my platform. I get so many messages a day, and I will do my best to reply back to everyone. I will not let anyone without a message or reply. Also, like, with Sheila from the show, we do have a program called Brave Through IVF.
Wow,
so this is a community we're building and educating women the tools to help them through their IVF journey, through their donor journey, anything that they have going through. It's a beautiful community. We have amazing, I think, 13 or 14 girls now, and it's such a safe space. I love these women. So if anyone's looking at that, they're more than welcome to join.
So where do you find that?
So I post it on my socials.
Okay.
So it's always on my pages. So you can find me, connect to me, and I'll send you the link and you can look into it. But my socials is my biggest platform. So, and I just want to tell women, it's not like I said, it's not about money for me. It's not about getting how many followers. I'd rather get 1,000 followers, but true women that want help. And a lot of the time, it's not help on which doctor do I go to or this.
No.
A lot of women just want to be heard. A lot of women just want to know that they're okay and how they're feeling gets validated. And that's how simple as it is. Just reaching out and just saying, hey, I'm going through this, what do I do? Or, I just wanted to just say something and let you know. It's little things like that that women love to just open up and feel like they're not alone. And I love knowing that they can come and do that with me. So, yeah.
I love
thank
that.
you for
Thanks
that.
so
Yeah.
much for coming on. Like, I really appreciate it. And for someone that's watched you for a long time now, you've definitely helped me with my journey. So I really appreciate you coming on, Ilina.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies.
Howdy, it's us again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Don't forget to download the awareness kit and subscribe to the podcast. Have a fabulous day.